So much to talk about this weekend, ladies and gentlemen. So much to talk about. NXT TakeOver 31 was last Sunday. We had a slew of amazing matches. The WWE Draft is officially underway with the first 4 rounds and some free agent stuff happening on and after SmackDown this week. We're going to get into all that and more this week as we
break the ring down.
Woo! You don't know what hard times are, Daddy.
The cream will rise to the top, oh yeah.
Austin 316 says I just whipped your ass. You just made the list.
This right here is a family.
Hey, this is professional wrestler and professional podcaster Colt Boom Boom Cabana.
My name is Killer Cross.
This is The Smoke Show, Scarlett Bordeaux.
What's up, guys? The F Machine, Brian Cage.
This is Ryan from Pro Wrestling Tees.
Sadly, you are not listening to The Art of Wrestling, but you made a decent choice because you're listening.
You are now listening to...
And you're listening
to Breaking Down the Ring.
Breaking Down the Ring.
Breaking Down the Ring.
Breaking Down the Ring.
Breaking Down the Ring. Break it down.
Oh, it's true. It's damn true.
Ladies and gentlemen, you are listening, you're watching, you are paying attention to the most inappropriate pro wrestling show in the motherfucking world. You're listening to Breaking Down the Ring, and we are your ring crew.
Smitty.
Konik 19.
And Shit Z Dog Fart.
And me, the almighty one, Mikey himself. Shitsy dog fart, huh? All right.
Hey, you know, Shotsky Blackheart. Shit
Yeah,
Z.
Shitsy dog fart. I like it. I like it a lot. Nick, you're currently destroying all of our fantasy leagues. Mr. Konik 19, you're destroying the NFL itself. I mean, God damn it, Nick. What are you doing over there?
I just do what I do.
Fair.
So do what I do, baby.
Since you just do what you do, I need you to spread some of that to the Pro Wrestling Scorecards team, please. That would be fantastic.
Why?
Because it gives us the advantage. Fuck it.
What
We're getting beat so bad, we might as well cheat now.
Wait. They can still fill out a scorecard if they have COVID.
No, not if they're... But, see, the way you had COVID, you were delusional, so you would have made shitty picks. See?
All right. I'll allow that one. Yeah, that's true. I would have put me in a whole new sense of euphoria. And I would have done very well. We don't know. Speaking of that, Pro Wrestling Scorecards is still killing us. For the first time in a very long time, actually, no, just for the first time ever, Pro Wrestling Scorecards is doing really well on scorecards. Normally they
Jess in particular.
Jess is a fucking Rain Man right now. Definitely that winner. Definitely that winner.
And their Oscar guy's a fucking ringer.
I want to know what website Jesse is copying from, because I would like to copy from the same website.
Z, the 3-time ring crew champion. You know, we were talking about that actually last
2-time
night.
world champ, though. 2-time world champ. No one else here can say that.
Yeah. So we were talking about that actually last night at work. I was talking about how Smitty sucks. Even though he has the most title reigns, right? He didn't hold it the entire 2019. He just got a couple of them this year. I'm 1 title reign behind him. And the only reason Z only has 3 is because the first year and a half he made his picks bullshit. None of them were real. It was, I'm gonna throw a ping pong ball, whatever cup it lands in. That's who I'm picking.
Bowling. We did the Mr. Perfect vignettes. Only that's how I made my pick.
Right. So it's like, it's kind of a crazy thing that you only have 3 while Smitty has these many. But it's like Smitty was basically taking on the Down syndrome kid, and he was like, "Oh, I beat you."
And again, I will say it. Unlike you fucks, I don't need a title.
Right. First off, I am the title.
Are you saying you are the Jake Roberts of BDR?
No, because I actually won a title, a singles title. So that automatically makes me better than Jake Roberts.
And no one has exploded in popularity by cutting a promo on him either. So,
all right.
Really, if it wasn't for Jake Roberts, we wouldn't have Stone Cold Steve Austin.
If it wasn't for Hulk Hogan, Jake Roberts would have been your fucking world champion.
Again, that's fine, but do you have Stone Cold Steve Austin if you don't have Jake Roberts? Because that promo was the thing that set off the most popular shirt, which skyrocketed Austin's popularity.
Right, but it would have depended who his opponent was in the final if it wasn't Jake Roberts. If it was another veteran guy that was older than Austin and making a return or having a red hot run in the tournament, then yeah, you could have basically cut the same promo. You just take the couple little jabs he took about his sobriety out of that and just do the same promo.
Yeah,
not saying he would have. I mean, that was off the cuff, so maybe it doesn't generate the same in the brain. It doesn't come out the same way. It doesn't get as big. But I mean, it's hard to answer. You know what I mean?
Right, but without Roberts and the Bible stuff, Austin wouldn't say Austin 316 says I just whipped your ass.
Very true.
You know what I'm saying?
Then we at least don't have the promo then.
Right, and that's what I'm saying. But I think the promo is what gave him the popularity. Look, Austin is spectacular, right? But we all know that in this business, getting over on the mic puts you into a different stratosphere, right? Austin, the reason that the New Day stayed so popular for as long as they have been popular and are still popular is because they sell a shit ton of merch, all kinds of different stuff. So because there's such merch salesmen, it makes the WWE money to put them on TV more when they can. Austin sold the most popular t-shirt of all time because of the Austin 316 line. And because of that, it made sense for WWE to put it on TV more, to the point where they had to quickly switch him. It seemed like during that run, right after the King of the Ring, you're like, why is this guy taking so long to do anything? Right? Because it was so popular, but it's not like I think he was still in Intercontinental title feuds at the time.
Yeah, well, so with Austin, that's what gave that promo off the cuff with the Austin 316 gave the company confidence. He really didn't take off like a rocket until he started kicking the shit out of Mr. McMahon every other week for 5.5 years. But I mean, that's really the feud that made him who he was. Then you throw in the fact that, he was in a feud for the Intercontinental Championship. Austin never breaks his neck. Austin never changes to that brawling style. And then he's not as popular. I mean, if Stone Cold Steve Austin, now the Bret Hart Austin match at 13 was an absolute technical clinic. Mm-hmm. But if that was Austin's style of wrestling the entire time he had that run on top, you might have gotten bored of it. But with his brawling style and selling, it sells the whole tough redneck drunk, persona.
And of course, the fact that he kept getting injured. When you keep getting injured like that, it pulls you off of TV. It makes people want to see you.
But they never took him off. If you look at Austin, like nowadays, people disappear for 6 months. Austin broke his fucking neck in the ring, and they still had him on TV, whether it was his rehab or recovery at home, or if he was just behind the scenes. Like, there was about a year he didn't wrestle, but they gave him the microphone and still made him part of the show.
Yeah, like the whole thing when he originally stunner McMahon, that's when he was still injured and recovering. His first stunner events.
Right,
So
but that
nice
year,
of McMahon to sell that like that if he still had a fucked up neck.
that year on the mic when Owen broke his neck is, kind of helped his character development, which basically just made him into this juggernaut of a character.
Yeah, but man, it still blows my mind that Austin cut that promo in '96, right? King of the Ring '96. Austin cuts that promo. I don't know specifically the time of year that was. I want to say
kind of like June.
That was where Money in the Bank would have fallen. So like June, July.
Okay, so you got that, and then you have Austin doesn't touch the WWE title until March 29th, 1998.
Yeah.
98. So it's like 2 years of the most popular person on your roster, and he's still only touching the Intercontinental title. Think of that now. Right? Think of the amount of storyline that WWE does, but the minute you're popular, they're like, nope, you're touching the top belt. You are running with this company. Austin had 2, I want to say, I'm looking at it right now. Let's see. August 3rd, 1997, he won the Intercontinental belt. November 9th, 1997, he won the Intercontinental belt. And he had 2 Intercontinental runs before he had the title run, the main title run.
All right, what was the first day?
August 3rd, 1997.
To November. So he was out for like 4 months because of his neck.
August 3rd.
Because he won the title. So he won the title from Owen when Owen broke his neck. But then had to relinquish the title because he couldn't defend it because he had a broken fucking neck. And when he came back in November, he won it back from Owen and then started his feud with The Rock. That's when they started throwing it off of bridges and shit.
No. Oh yeah. So that's crazy then. So he won the title, broke his neck, and he still held the belt for 63 days.
Yeah. They had him on the mic. That's when you didn't see him wrestle. But that was also back when Raw was about an hour long. So you also didn't see everybody every week. It was kind of like NXT is, where you kind of spread out your top people, which was more of a reason why it was so popular, because you had different people on each show, and you're like, oh, Bret Hart's wrestling tonight on Raw. I got to make sure I watch that because I don't know when the next time I'm going to see Bret Hart wrestle is. That kind of stuff.
And then, he dropped it to The Rock. Rock held it for 264 days. And you never saw anyone really touch that belt that's like top tier until Edge had it in July of 1999.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but Austin only held the championship, 5 times?
The main title?
Yes.
I believe you're right with that.
Right. So fuck you guys and my 3 times only winning the BDR championship. I'm still the most popular motherfucker.
Didn't Kurt Angle win the title in '99? The IC title in '99 as well?
No.
Huh?
No.
Because I know he was an Inter Euro champion.
It was not then. It was in 2000.
Okay.
Did you just call it an intramural champion and not?
No, Inter Euro.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Kurt Angle originally touched that belt February 27th, 2000. Is when he had the Intercontinental belt. And then he lost it to
Crispin?
No, we're not saying. We don't say that name here. Oh, he lost it to Chris Benoit. Yeah, because Jericho had it.
I gotta say, after yesterday, asking you guys some of the really good pay-per-views to watch from the Attitude Era, I watched that King of the Ring from what was it, 99, Smitty?
You're welcome.
And then I watched about half of Fully Loaded 2000, and I'm just like, man, it really makes you miss, not necessarily right now because of COVID and whatever, but when we did have crowds, they are nothing like those crowds were back then. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
it was just fucking utter chaos, and it just made that atmosphere that much better, man. Holy
But if you
shit.
want to talk about hostile crowds, watch some of the ECW pay-per-views from the 90s.
Smitty, do you have a booger under your nose?
No.
Other one.
There you go. Yep.
What is that white thing in there? It's in your mustache.
Mm.
Oh, it's gone now. It was a booger.
No, it wasn't actually.
It was a booger. Gross.
It was
booger,
wet.
Smitty. Smugger. It was a smugger.
Smugger.
Yeah, man. Attitude Era was nuts, dude. There was a lot of crazy shit that happened in the Attitude Era. But I agree. I think the way the fans was, while way more energetic and everything, it was also way more annoying. I mean, fuck, dude. Everyone and their fucking mother had a sign.
Yeah.
Imagine trying to watch a live show during the Attitude Era. I don't even think I went to a show during the Attitude Era. May have.
I did. And I did, and I had like 6 signs because I had to have one for my favorite wrestler. So, each fucking match you're putting up a sign.
I was at Joe Lewis when also came in on the Zamboni.
Thanks for cutting him off there, Smitty.
It's all good.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Yeah, but anyway, so I mean, people didn't just go with one sign. There was multiple signs, and they were front and back, and everybody had one. Yeah. It looked like the video game with the crowds they have holding up the signs, and they're all like on top of each other.
That's how the video games looked.
Yeah,
like it never really did anything. It was just about a third of an inch each way. Like, I'm really shaking my sign right now. But yeah, man, I mean, that's what I think that's the real problem right now is. So if you look at that, Austin drops the pipe bomb of promos. One of the most popular promos in the middle of 1996. He didn't touch the main title until WrestleMania 1998. And he had 2 Intercontinental runs. Now, granted, that neck injury was in the middle of there. But again, that neck injury was like a year later. It was like 97 that he took the IC title belt, right? So a year, this dude is the most popular person in wrestling.
Hold on. Keep in mind that part of the reason it's not like they held him back. Back then, you only had the big 4. This was before In Your House started, because In Your House started in like June of 97. So that's when they did like monthly pay-per-views. So storylines were a little more drug out. So if you won the King of the Ring, and then your next pay-per-view would have been SummerSlam, you start building the guy, this was like their development. They used to put the Intercontinental Championship on people to see if they were capable of being world champion. Like, it was like a stepping stone process, and I really kind of miss it. But yeah, so they had longer storylines because, again, Raw was an hour, and you only had 4 major pay-per-views. I think King of the Ring was the 5th. So then, so you made it last longer. So back then, a year and a half probably wasn't shit for time, because they used to just build shit up like WrestleMania to WrestleMania.
Right. Yeah, so you got I'm just looking at 95's Royal Rumble, then went to WrestleMania. Then this is why I love Wikipedia, because when they do that, they have the pay-per-view chronology or the made. So WrestleMania 11 was followed by In Your House 1, which took place on May 14th, 95. Okay. Then King of the Ring 95 was June 25th. Then In Your House 2. So this actually started in 95.
Okay,
July.
I thought it was 97. I thought it was DX. I thought DX had one of the original In Your Houses.
August 27th. No, the original In Your House was the one where Triple H ate poop or something.
Ah, okay.
They gave that house away.
The Hog Pit the Hog Pit match, and they gave us
October. Yeah, so that's what it's looking like. 95 was the first year for all of them. In Your House 5 is December, Royal Rumble. January, In Your House 6, February, WrestleMania 12, March 31st, In Your House 7, April. Yeah, so like 95
monthly pay-per-view start in June of 95?
Yeah, it's after WrestleMania 11 started the In Your House pay-per-view, so they started a monthly thing in the mid of 95. So again, yeah, so you are on a monthly schedule and things like that, but for some reason, Austin still doesn't touch a title, and maybe he had the European title. Let me look at that one.
Nah.
Huh? Never held it? I thought he was a Grand Slam.
No, I think he either got the Grand Slam title after they retired that belt, or I don't think he ever won it, because the first one was Shawn.
No,
then it was Bulldog. What's that?
I was wondering if it was Davey or I thought it was Davey before Shawn.
Shawn was the first one to win it, making him a Grand Slam, and then Davey Boy took it off of him. And they kind of feuded for it for a minute, and then D'Lo held it for a while. If Austin,
I think D'Lo held it more than anybody.
Yeah, I mean, D'Lo or Shane has to be the top title holder for that. As far as reigns go. But I do not remember Austin ever having the European Championship.
Let's see. No, British Bulldog kicked it off 205 days. Then Shawn took it in September.
So
Triple H. Yeah, I don't see Stone Cold's name anywhere on here. Then the 2000s. Yeah, no, Austin never touched it. So yeah, that's fucking crazy to me, man.
That I was right about Davey being the first.
6-time WWF champion, WWE champion, 2-time Intercontinental champion, 4-time tag team champion. So maybe he was running with tag teams at the time. Because he did one with Shawn, one with Dude, one with Foley, one with Taker, and one with Triple H. But that Triple H one was like when they were like the top guys.
The 2-man power trip.
Yeah. Then Triple H blew out his fucking quad. Yeah, King of the Ring 96. Then he won the Royal Rumble in 97. So, yeah, but he won the Royal Rumble in 97, which puts him in the main title picture at that Mania. And then doesn't win it, does Intercontinental stuff, wins it again 98, does win the title. They say that he's the 5th Triple Crown champion. I guess, yeah, because at the time it was Intercontinental, main Intercontinental and tag. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, that's crazy. But that's what I'm saying. So like you go into all these things, the history of it. Even still, while he was in the picture, he lost, right? And that's what we've always been saying. Like you make these people seem invincible, and people get sick of them. You have to make it seem like somebody can lose or somebody will lose. Otherwise, what's the purpose of giving a fuck about your favorite person that you're running with, right? That was the reason everyone started hating Cena, because Cena started winning all the time. And you say it was the backstage politics of Cena, but at the same time, the New Day had the longest tag title reign, right? The New Day did that. They were blowing up, selling merch like crazy, left and right. So if you have the longest tag title reign, obviously you're not losing. It's not so much the position and the backstage politics as it is I'm blowing up, selling things. I am super popular. Everyone wants to see me. So WWE is like, you're winning all the time. But people didn't give a shit about the tag team run, because it wasn't like, no one felt like they were having a team thrown down their face. They were truly enjoying what the New Day did, right? That's why people hated Cena, because they're like, I'm kind of sick of seeing Cena win all the time. But back in the day, your most popular star didn't even touch your top title until 2 years after his big type run, when he is selling the most merch. Because again, Austin 316 is the most is the highest selling shirt in WWE history.
I mean, Cena was about a year. I mean, he won the U.S. belt, and it was about, he won the U.S. belt at WrestleMania against Big Show, and then the following WrestleMania won the title against JBL.
Right.
So, I mean, it was a year before he touched the main title.
Right, but what I'm saying is that was also the time where people were happy Cena won, and then a couple years later, you start getting the "Let's go Cena, Cena sucks" chants, right? Because Cena's always on top. He's looking infallible. He can't be touched. He's always going to be there. You have to deal with him. Whereas in the Attitude Era, you had your top 3 people running with that belt. You know what I'm saying? You had Austin, you had Rock, and you had Triple H. Those are your main guys running with the belt. Now, granted, there were other main people up there.
All right. What? I was like, you got to the point. I was like, you got guys like Foley and Taker who would sprinkle in every now and again.
Yeah, who were up there and they were floating through and they would be in part of so your top 3 always had like 3 or 4 people to fight besides the other 2, right? So you had a real good main event structure. Now it's basically like, this is our guy. He's going to run with this belt and he's going to fight the same 2 or 3 people. You get fucking bored. Like you could still have a guy be a top guy in your business or on your company and not hold your top title, right? Austin did it. Austin proved that that's possible. Rock did it. Rock proved that's possible. Rock wasn't always holding that title.
Undertaker was a top guy and barely had any title reign. I mean, he had 7 total, but over the length of his career, I mean, it seems like nothing.
And that's including some of the WCW reigns, the world title reigns when they had him on SmackDown.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's not even like he was holding the top belt when it was just the single belt to be on the top form of it.
Yeah, when it was just the Winged Eagle, he only held it 1 time.
Yeah, which is crazy to think of because Undertaker is such a known. I mean, it's just that's him. You think top
but
gimmicks.
Back then, though. Sorry to cut you off. I was gonna say, but back then, though, you had longer title reigns. Like what the problem was, like at the end of the Attitude Era, in the beginning of Ruthless Aggression, the title changed hands so much. It was like every other month it would change hands. Whereas you go back to like the New Age and into the beginning of the Attitude Era, it was more of you basically, if you won the belt at WrestleMania, you held the belt until the next WrestleMania and got a rematch. I mean, that was kind of the format. Obviously, injuries and stuff led to changes. That's why at WrestleMania 13, we didn't get Shawn and Brett. 2, we got Taker and Sid. But, whatever.
So it's really funny that you say that because I was looking at the Taker's first reign, and his first reign was 5 days. But here are the title reigns all in that time where you just said that people had longer title reigns. Hogan started off the 90s, 363 days. Then Warrior obviously took it at Mania 1990, 292 days. Sergeant Slaughter was next, 63 days. Hulk Hogan, 247 days. Undertaker, 5 days. Hulk Hogan, less than a day. Ric Flair, 76 days. Randy Savage, 148 days. 40 days for Ric Flair. Bret Hart, 174. Less than a day for Yokozuna. Wonder what day that was. Then Hulk Hogan, 69 days. What? WrestleMania 9? Then Yokozuna for 279, Brett for 247, Bob Backlund for 2, Diesel for 357, 132 for Brett, 230 for Shawn, 62 for Sid, 24 days for Shawn, less than a day for Brett, 33 days for Sid, 132 for Taker, 97 for Brett, 139 for Shawn, 90 days for Austin, less than a day for Kane, 89 days for Austin, 49 days for Rock, 19 days for Mankind, 6 days for The Rock, 14 days for Mankind, 40 days for The Rock, 55 days for Austin, 35 days for Undertaker, 54 days for Austin, less than a day for Mankind, Triple H 23 days, Mr. McMahon 3 days, 48 days for Austin, and Big Show 49 days to close out the 2000s. Like, it's right. The beginning of that half of that decade, you're like, okay, you got a couple 50s, a less than a day. You got the 100 days. You got the 200 days.
You could tell with the the Sid, Sean, and Brett thing, like where injuries impacted the reigns, and then it went right back to steady numbers.
Right. And that's the crazy thing to think about is there was a time where people used to complain that the belt was losing meaning because it was switching so much, because it still was. You know, if you're going even into the 2000s, like you said, I started at 49 days with Big Show. Then you got 117 for Triple H, 20 for The Rock, 34 for Triple H, 118 for The Rock, 125 for Kurt Angle, 34 days for The Rock, 175 for Austin, 14 days for Kurt Angle, 61 days for Austin, 97 days for Jericho, 34 days for Triple H, Hollywood Hogan, 27 days, Taker, 62 days, Rock, 34 days, Lesnar, 83 days, 27 days for Big Show. Then we get back into hundreds. Kurt Angle for 104, Brock Lesnar for 118, Kurt Angle for 52, Lesnar for 150, Eddie Guerrero held it for 132 days. Then you got JBL and Cena, who did 279 each. Then 20 days for Edge, 132 for Cena, 21 days for Rob Van Dam. Surprised it's not 420. 75 for Edge, 380 for John Cena starting September 2006 to October 2007. Randy Orton held it for less than a day. Triple H held it for less than a day. Yeah, back to back. Then Orton for 202, then Triple H for 209, 20 for Edge, 41 for Jeff Hardy, 20 for Edge, 69, nice for Triple H, 41 for Randy Orton, 1 day for Batista, 89 for Orton, 20 days for Cena, 20 days for Orton, 48 days for Cena, and then 69, nice for the Celtic Warrior Sheamus to close out the 2000s decade, the first 10 years of that. So yeah, there's times where you could tell who they threw it on for quite a while, right? But there's a lot of less than 100 days. There's a lot of 3-month reigns. You're going to hold it until our next big pay-per-view. Like you're going to hold it Rumble to Mania. You're going to hold it Mania to SummerSlam, SummerSlam to Survivor Series, you know? And it does. And a lot of people back at the time were like, man, it's just hurting the title because it's switching so much, right? But now people are pissed that people are holding it too long.
No, dumb people are mad that,
I agree.
You know, they're holding it too long. Now, the Lesnar thing I kind of understood. Whereas he had lengthy title reigns, but he was never on TV. But he's supposed to.
No, not during that time he was.
What's that?
During that time he was. This is where we're talking like Brock's original run.
But I'm talking about now. Like people now are mad that they were mad that Brock held the title for so long and was never.
I need to get to the upper area over here. I need to get over here.
Yeah. My keys are where?
Hi, Smitty.
Mute. Oh. There you go.
You were saying,
hi, Alexa.
See you at 6.
Oh, I forgot what I was saying. What was I saying?
Brock Lesnar's reigns.
Oh, yeah. So they were mad that Brock held the title for so long and was never on TV, which gave him more heat, good or bad, whatever. Heat is heat. But I think giving Drew a long run and the fact that he's held it past SummerSlam, it makes me happy as a fan, just because the longer a champion, no matter whom it is, holds a title belt, it makes it that much more special for the person that wins the championship from them. So if you want to, give your title some meaning, just have somebody hold it for a while and then have, do your face or heel, whatever. And then you either have your dastardly heel or your uber baby face, take it off them a year after you have it. And it makes the win mean something. But when the title's flip-flopping all the time, it doesn't lose meaning right away, but eventually people are like, all right, cool, this title means shit because the 24/7 championship changes hands twice every week. And I mean, it's cool and it's entertaining, but that title means absolutely nothing.
What's crazy is since May 2017, no title holder for the WWE Championship has held it for less than 144 days.
Which is good. I mean, they're getting back to steadiness.
Yeah, because you got Jinder Mahal, 169 days. Then next was AJ Styles for 371. Then Daniel Bryan for 144, which is cool. But remember, they switched that title just because they didn't want AJ Styles to lose to Lesnar a second time at Survivor Series. 180 for Kofi Kingston, and then 184 for Brock, and 188 for Drew currently. So Drew has held the title 8 days longer than Kofi Kingston and will take longer to lose it in a match as well.
Unless it's against Otis.
Just saying, Kofi Kingston can't beat Brock Lesnar. So look at the Royal Rumble, too. And it took 2 guys to help him. And look, Drew McIntyre, only with the nut shot.
One
Claymore. One nut shot, one Claymore. Like, you got to give it to Ricochet for the nut shot, right? So let's go into what we were actually going to talk about this week.
That nut shot was the best thing Ricochet has done on the main roster.
No, that is not true. He's
I'll wait.
Debuted with Aleister Black.
Should have kept them together as a tag team. At least they'd be doing something.
Yeah, Vince McMahon has a real problem with putting a couple blacks together.
Yeah, I don't want to even go into WWE tag teams right now.
It's a good segue.
Smitty is so mad about the tag teams, but we're going to get into it when we talk about the draft in a minute. Let's talk about NXT TakeOver 31. Damn fine pay-per-view. We said it ourselves. The NXT TakeOver before this was probably didn't suck, but if you're ranking NXT TakeOvers, 30 was very lackluster from what you're normally getting to what you got. So there was a lot of hope for 31 to be really good, and it delivered, man. Like, even Dave Meltzer didn't give anything less than 3.25 stars.
I have a problem with his ratings because if that's based on a 6-star scale, I disagree. But if it's based on a 5-star scale, all for
it. Is he doing 6 stars now?
Yeah, remember he's ever since
only in Japan.
What was it, Omega and Okada? He gave it 6 stars. So
yeah,
I mean that would lead me to believe that now his rating system is 6 stars, right?
Well, he gave an 8-star match as well.
Okay.
So he breaks 5 when it comes to Japan.
Got it. I got it. It's Steiner math. It's not supposed to.
Yeah, exactly. So I think it's still on a 5-star scale, allegedly. So it takes a lot for someone to blow the scale, which blows my mind or you're just the top of the scale. So he gave the Damian Priest, Johnny Gargano North American title match 3.75 stars. Kushida, Velvet Dream of Teens, 3.25 stars. Santos Escobar and Swerve Scott match for the NXT Cruiserweight Championship, 3.75 stars. Io Shirai and Candace LeRae for the NXT Women's Championship was 3.75 stars. And Finn Balor, Kyle O'Reilly was 4.5 stars. So let's kick this off. Let's talk Damian Priest, Johnny Gargano. First off, with these pro wrestling scorecards, no one on our team or pro wrestling scorecards team thought the North American title would kick it off. But they sure should announced it right as the kickoff show was going on. And we all sat there going, well, lost points there. Right off the bat. And wherever you put the North American title, you already knew you lost 6 points just for that one right there. Priest, Gargano, they went at it. Damian Priest came out on top. Nick, we're going to start with you because you didn't talk too much last time we were talking about stuff. And how did you feel about the way this pay-per-view kicked off?
It was a good way to kick it off. I'm becoming more of a Damian Priest man. Priest fan.
You mean, I think it would be you would be an altar boy.
That's his new shirt. I'm an altar boy. I'm becoming more of a Damian Priest altar boy every match he has. I mean, honestly, I didn't expect Johnny Gargano to win this one. I had him losing, and then I had Candice LeRae winning later in the night. So, it wasn't a surprise ending, but There were a couple times when I thought he might go over, but it was a really good way to kick off the pay-per-view.
Z, you did have Gargano going over because your thought process was they were going to give the married couple title run on the show. How did you feel about that after you watched this match?
Obviously, like shit, because I was wrong. But great match. I knew about halfway through the match, I thought to myself, well, fuck. I just lost points. And sure shit, I did. I like the way they're building Priest right now. I mean, when I filled out my scorecard and picked Gargano, it was more so like I had a storyline narrative in my head that I thought they were going to pull the trigger on, and they did not. But the way they're building Priest right now, I mean, it's hard not to like him. I don't necessarily like the part of his gimmick where he's all like, party all the time kind of shit. But as far as in-ring performance and even like the psychology he uses in the ring and the story he tells in the ring, I mean, it's hard not to like him.
Smitty, what are your thoughts on the match?
I knew Gargano was going to have a good showing for sure. Did I expect him to open? Hell no, but basically, like you said, we all were like, shit, that was points out the window. From what I understand, backstage, they're really high on Priest when they put the title on. So I figured when I make the pick, they're going to run with Priest for the main card for a minute, and eventually he'll be an NXT champion as well. So that's where my thought process went.
Unless he gets called up and then ruined.
So I guess now the question I'll ask again is, what did you think about the match? I don't give a shit about your thought process. I just want to know what you think about the match.
Does anyone got a bell?
He does in the kitchen. Ding it, bitch.
As I was saying, I'm talking.
Okay, calm down, Smamala.
The match is really good. Like I said, once again, I expected a really good match out of Gargano, but Gargano have a good showing, which he always does. Johnny Takeover. Priest, I've been a fan of him before he was Damien Priest. So I felt like it was going to be like an ROH. It felt like an ROH match to a certain degree, which a lot of Takeover matches end up feeling like at times. So, I really enjoyed it.
Why would you say ROH match? Why can't NXT have their own type of matches?
Like NXT is still kind of a baby promotion compared to everything else I've been watching for over years. So I get a certain feels from certain matches. Outside of the NXT women's division, that's the only thing I think feels kind of unique to me on the NXT when it comes to NXT's takeover matches and NXT matches.
Okay. I have to agree with everyone's points. This is just a great way to fucking kick off the show. And I guess it kind of makes sense after you think about it and you look back at it. A lot of us thought maybe Kushida and Velveteen Dream would lead it off, which was the following match. But yeah, in the grand scheme of things, you want the pay-per-view to kick off and kick off well. There was a lot of times where I think Bubba Ray talks about it a lot. It's like, someone asked them, why are you always kicking off the show? Like you used to think that curtain jerking was bad, right? But Bubba asked Vince, he goes, why are we always opening these WrestleManias? And Vince said, because your matches are some of the most exciting things on the night, and it should kick off WrestleMania to give fans a start that is a pump up rather than a total build. You want to have flow. So if you start off really high, you can go a little low, bring it back up, go a little low, bring it back up, and finish on a high note. And therefore, when I heard all that, I was like, man, curtain jerking isn't a bad thing at all. That second match is the problem, Chris Jericho, Kevin Owens.
So I was just about to say.
That's more the match that is like, okay, we're going to put you second because we have the match to kick it off. We can take a lull now. So speaking of lulls, Kushida, Velveteen Dream, Doc Brown versus Marty McFly, which you had to give it to Dream, right? No matter like an underage boy looking for a hookup in the wrestling industry, you had to give it to Dream for what he did. So
the views and opinions expressed by Breaking Down the Ring.
Despite the fact Patrick Clark is a piece of shit, but the Velveteen Dream is an excellent character.
No.
I think the Velveteen Dream is just Patrick Clark. I think that's just him. Just turned up to 11 or down to
Dream.
11 or maybe hit on by 11. I don't really know.
Turned up to a 13-year-old.
No, that's Austin Theory.
Oh, that's right. Turned up to a 16-year-old. Right. Yeah, sorry. Austin Theory. The theory is you go younger, it's better. That's wrong. Not a good theory. So Meltzer gave this match the lowest stars of the night, 3.25. Z, what did you think about this one, sir?
I mean, I thought it was a very solid match. I picked Kushida to go over by submission. I was right.
It's true.
But no, it was a good match. I actually turned on the pay-per-view and caught the second half of it. And I never went back to rewatch the first half. But from the half that I did see, I liked what I saw. He definitely put Kushida over. If you didn't know who he was from Japan, and you didn't really know who, if you're going into this as not a Smart fan, but just a NXT fan or a WWE fan, and you've never seen the likes of Kushida elsewhere, this was a great way to kind of up his stock in the company. Like, oh shit, he made Velveteen Dream tap out. Like, that really puts him over as like, okay, this guy is somebody to fuck with, not just some guy that's trying to look like an American tourist coming down to the ring. Yeah.
And this was Kushida's first singles match on a TakeOver.
Yeah.
Like, he had come in and been injured a bit. Like, he's known for the NXT universe, but this is the first time that he touched the NXT pay-per-view or NXT TakeOver. Smitty, your thoughts on this? Or are you busy right now making a burger? Not even open yet.
Yeah, like, my thing is like as he said, I'm a Smart fan. I've watched Kushida. This is just one of those really good technical matches from my standpoint, the way I was looking at it. So I really enjoyed it. Like I say, this is like I would have gave. I think this is one of my favorite matches. One of, not the favorite, is like maybe I enjoyed it more than the Priest Gargano for some reason. I don't know why, but maybe because I'm a fan of Kushida, so I had a little bit of bias.
You thought this match was better than Gargano and Priest?
I'm a big Kushida fan, so.
That's a bold statement, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off for him.
It never does. The Ocho. The Smocho.
I say 9 going for 10 times.
That is very, very
work out for me.
Nick, what are your thoughts on this? Did you think it was better than Gargano and Priest?
No.
No.
But I will say I did enjoy the match. And, anytime I've seen Kushida in the ring, I mean, he's been like, oh, that guy's, he's pretty good. I couldn't really connect with his character a whole lot. But this match, it seemed like it really showcased his style and his abilities. And he was so aggressive in this match. And in a way, he kind of dominated that whole match against a guy like Dream, love him or hate him, just as his character. I hope that they give him a nice run and start pushing him, because I really liked what he did in the match a lot.
I guess my thing is, a lot of times in the commentary, they were saying the same thing. Kushida is so aggressive. Look at him. He's going after. But there was like 3 submission rope breaks done by Dream to get out of 3 different submissions. And then there was 2 near falls, both by Velveteen Dream. And it just seemed like, for as much as was built up on how good this match could be, they were very lackluster in the match. Like, you said it, that you said there seemed like aggression, but when all you're doing is like doing a move to hurt a body part, and then there's a lot of walking around on the outside, because obviously that's a dream style match. There's a lot of talking, there's a lot of performance type things, but Kushida, it seemed like it took him a little bit out of his game, and there was just a lot of meh in the match. To like, I even think that 3.25 might be a little high, right? Like, I'm like, maybe it got that because it's Kushida, because I watched that match and I was like, yeah, it's not a bad match, but where's the substance to it, right? And again, it might be because it seemed like that it was a quick build, because Dream fucked him over out of the championship match the week or two before. But I don't know, man. Like, if you fuck me out of a main title match, I feel like I would be a little bit more angry about that during the match that I'm fighting you for. And it just seemed like there was a lot of, I'll fuck you up with this little spot right here, and I'll go for a submission, but then I'm going to walk around and not really, go above and beyond for this. Like, sure, I'm aggressive when I'm doing something, but I don't know. I guess maybe the match could have been too short for me, or I was kind of turned off by this match. And I don't even think it's because I'm a Velveteen Dream, because I hate Velveteen Dream.
It sounds like your expectations were just too high, and it just didn't live up to what you were expecting from these two talents.
I feel like,
it was a solid match. It just wasn't anything exciting.
There's too many lulls inside of it for me, is what it is. There's just too many spaces. There's, there was not enough up here. There was too much down here. Smitty, what were you about to say?
Does your hate for Velveteen Dream have something to do with this as well?
No, because like I said, the majority of, I know that a Velveteen Dream match is going to have spaces of performance in it. I get it. But when I feel like the match stays down here more rather than having the action up here, you're kind of killing it. Mainly because of the storyline being told for this match was supposed to be Kushida's pissed. Kushida's more aggressive than he's ever been in his NXT career. And then there's so many lulls in the match that you're like, well, where's that aggression? Where's that I'm pissed off? Personally, for me. So I can't, I'm going to look at the timing for the match right now, because I wasn't sure. We have specifically, that match went, it was the shortest match on the card, which it still went 13 minutes even. Because Gargano and Priest went almost 20, and then you had 15 minutes for the next match, which is the NXT Cruiserweight Championship. Yeah, maybe it just seems like it could have been longer and with less lull. I don't know. So speaking of the next match, Santos Escobar defeating Isaiah Swerve Scott to retain the NXT Cruiserweight Championship. Smitty, we're going to have you kick this one off as you're cutting lettuce.
Actually, I was cutting lettuce. But so this was what I had all high expectations for this one. And I felt like this was probably my second favorite match on the card. Because they did what they did the damn thing. Sure. A little bit disappointed that Swerve didn't go over, because I feel like he's kind of due for something at this point. And I like Pablo Escobar. So this match was really good. I enjoyed it.
Nick, how do you feel?
I really enjoyed the match too. I was like Smitty, a little disappointed that Isaiah Swerve Scott didn't go over, because I had him on my card. But I do a ton of cocaine, so anytime an Escobar goes over, I'm all about it too. So I do, and I like. But the thing is, I like. God, I like it. I can't even think of their fucking name. the group that Escobar is in. I like that little faction that they have going on. I enjoy that. And Swerve Scott, he's got a lot of talent. I wasn't really a big fan of him when he first came into NXT. Didn't really know a lot about him. But again, like Damian Priest, the more and more I see him, the more and more I'm like, damn, this guy can fucking go. I think he's got a really bright future.
Z.
I agree with Nick on the bright future part, but at the same time, like, I hate that in that match, he threw everything, including the kitchen sink, at Santos Escobar and still couldn't pick up the win. Because ultimately, it's like, all right, this guy does have a lot of talent, but this is the title he's going for. Unless they're going to give him like a North American run, right now this would be his top title. And he did everything in his power and still couldn't pull off the win. So, and I mean, I believe that was their third or fourth match where he's lost by like, mere inches in,
No, he won the other 2 times.
Okay. So he won the other 2 times. So in this match, he threw everything but the kitchen sink and couldn't pull it off.
Right.
So I don't know, that just, to me, that always makes the character look weak in a sense, even though he did get over, like with his work rate and stuff like that. It's just, I hate when they do that. Like at the very least, like have the guy lose it and use the steel chair and get disqualified. So it doesn't, so it doesn't exactly get the loss and you can, progress storyline.
So Z, but how else do you build a major heel in the division outside of having them beat that babyface? Something like I think there's nothing wrong with having heels go over clean at every from here and there.
He didn't go over clean though.
Right.
Like my whole point is the point I was trying to get at was like you just said how making a title feel special. You want that heel to lose. I think we all wanted Swerve to win, did we not?
No, I picked Santos to win.
Yeah, you're still trailing me and Nick.
That's fine.
So,
I held the title in 2019.
All right, back to your point. That's going to be wrong, Smitty.
But having like right now, like having Swerve, like listen, I did want Swerve to go over, but I was all right with Santos winning because it makes it well. So whoever actually takes that belt off of Santos is going to make it a little bit more special.
I don't know. I kind of see where you're coming from, Z. But at the same time, if you have Swerve who has beaten him before, and then obviously Escobar's guys run out, and then Swerve had a guy, help. It seems like the next progression for this match, if you do want to give that belt to Swerve, is to have a type of match where nobody can interfere.
Wait, you said Swerve won. In the first match, Escobar headbutts him with that piece of steel in the mask and wins the match. So that's loss number 1. He didn't win that.
That's the second match. He won the first.
He won. Okay, so Swerve won the first. Escobar won the second by dirty trick, and now won the third by dirty trick.
No, I think there was in the tournament, I think Swerve has a pinfall victory over him. Swerve is the only person to have a pinfall victories over Escobar. That was part of the build for the match. So yeah, but again, I see what you're saying, but if you have these guys run in, right? So next, also they could do a cage match, and if you do a cage match where no one can get involved, or have a lose the belt if a disqualification happens type of match, like because you can't beat me without using all these dirty tricks. Do something like that, because obviously in a cage match everything's basically legal as well. And then have Swerve win, because you take away the tricks that Escobar has. So there's no.
Next is going to be Isaiah Swerve Scott's team versus Escobar's team in War Games, because it's almost November.
They're not doing no War Games this year.
Oh, really? Why?
Yeah. I don't know.
That's one of the best pay-per-views they have, in my opinion.
I agree. It may be a COVID thing.
can't be locked in a cage because you're not.
Yeah, because I don't think there's another takeover. There's not another takeover even announced yet.
Yeah, but they've been randomly announcing them too. So
yeah, but War Games would have been up there. Let's see. TakeOver War Games 20. An NXT TakeOver event will not take place during Survivor Series weekend. Okay, so maybe there's another one later.
It just won't be Survivor Series weekend.
Right.
Ooh.
And that well, no. So this was a article in early September, and then we got the TakeOver 31. So I don't know. Ooh, we'll see. Next match. Isharay defending against Candace LeRae. A lot of people thought Isharay was going to drop this one, whether it be for the storyline or not. It's like Ishiray's been running with this belt. She's been one of the people holding the title for a very long time. So, Nick, tell me, how much did you love the Poisonous Pixie?
I loved it. NXT TakeOver women's matches always seem to exceed my expectations, and that's saying a lot because I usually expect a really good match. I did think Candace LeRae was going to go over in this one with the help of hubby, but that didn't happen, so that was kind of surprising. I did. I thought it was a really good match. I think he could continue the storyline, but it's not looking like they're going to because apparently nobody is Io Shirai's problem, apparently. So it was a good match. I liked it. I like it a lot.
You know, after this match, you got the reveal of the person doing the vignettes, and it was Ember Moon. But you also, right before that reveal, Toni Storm showed up on the screen saying that she's now coming to NXT and she's coming for the belt as well. So you took the vignette guy who a lot of people thought was Bo Dallas, who we all picked was Bo Dallas. Smitty likes to pretend he knows it was Ember Moon, but he still picked Bo Dallas. And so then going into that, you have.
I have 10
seems like
hi,
shut up. No one. It
Go
seems
back
like
on mute.
it seems like you're stacking a women's division, which is fine, but you had a chance to bring in different people for the top title of the men's division, and you kind of just was like, all right, let's throw more at the women, which I'm not saying is a complete bad thing, but what are you going to do now with all of these women, right?
Well, now Mercedes Martinez is coming back too. You got even more women.
Yeah, she's not really a part of Retribution, or so
but she changed her name. So is Mia Yim coming
Mustafa
back as
Ali
well?
kicked her out. Well, they haven't officially announced her as a member, and so I have no fucking idea what they're doing with the women in the group, because the more they show the group now, the less and less I see women in the group. So yeah, I have no idea. As far as stacking the women's division, okay, first of all, I love this match. This match was fantastic. The story it told, Johnny coming out, trying to help with the ref shirt on, like just the whole psychology of it was great. I knew at the minute Johnny lost in his match that I had also lost points on this match because, you know, it wasn't going to happen. But this match was great. And then you had the Tony vignette, or, you know, live on the Titantron kind of thing. That was cool. And the minute they went to the motorcycle, like the minute the chick stepped off the motorcycle, I was like, God damn it, it's Ember Moon. Like it didn't take for me to see like the unmasking or anything. Like the minute they stepped off the motorcycle, I was like, motherfucker. And then I'm still like in the back of my mind thinking, all right, maybe it still is a guy and he's just interrupting the women. No, but I digress.
Smitty, your thoughts on this? Ooh, what's he cooking?
Taco meat. But
taco meat.
Yeah, but so I've had lengthy conversations before TakeOver happened, and I just start listening to everybody else when I pick Bro Dallas. And I have like 10 messages like, you called everyone, like, no, yes and no, because originally I kept saying it would be awesome if Ember Moon returned to NXT. Because, her and Xavier have been out for pretty much a year. The match, it was a really good match. Like, I have high expectations for NXT to take over women's matches. And once again, this one delivered. It really delivered. To the match, the twists and turns that happened during and in between, afterwards. So I was really, this match was satisfactory for me.
Smitty, you look like you're in a remake of Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. Gonna go make best friends with an ant?
You ever seen the movie Ants?
The cartoon?
What?
The cartoon, Ants?
No, I said the ant.
Yeah, Ants with a Z,
With a Z, yeah.
Yeah.
Ants with a him.
Did Smitty get rid of his dreadlocks?
No, he's got on.
No, he's wearing a do-rag.
A terrorist.
It kind of looks like he got rid of his dreadlocks and he's just got.
Hey, you're in the kitchen, asshole. Put your fucking shit back on. He was shaking it out and stuff. Ew. Now go wash your hands.
Guess where I'm not eating today.
I like how he's talking on mute. It's my favorite when Smitty talks on mute. Go wash your hands, you dirty bitch. Fucking touching your hair in the middle of the kitchen. Cooking taco meat, putting dread hair on it. Yeah, no, thank you. I appreciate the offer. I agree. This match is really good. Spectacular. Obviously, great watch. We're watching it with Daniel, and Daniel's like, are they doing the Sasha Banks Bailey storyline? I'm like, no, a little different. At least Johnny came from the back with a ref shirt rather than taking the shirt off of the ref and going at it and trying to do the fast count. That was, I thought it was much better like that. Obviously, we've seen it before many times, but you knew Johnny was going to help. I also thought that it was still very possible that Candace was taking this until the end of it. Throughout the match, they were like working it out in her favor, and every cheat thing in the book, and Isharay still won. I'm okay with. She's now running this belt for 125 days. I would not have minded if it was less than that, because Candace Larae would have taken it. Larae would have taken it. So I don't know, man. I personally just don't have much to say because you guys all covered it. Final match, very devastating match, an injury-laden match. Finn Balor defended his NXT championship against Kyle O'Reilly in a match that a lot of us expected to be spectacular, and it really pulled off. Z, kick it off.
Oh, man. These boys were nug. No.
Nug is a bug in a rug.
Fuck. It was a fucking bloodbath, literally. You the first time Kyle O'Reilly was bleeding from the mouth, you thought it was a capsule. And then you're like, wow. Like, once you got the camera shot of his mouth being drenched in blood, you're like, wow, man, that capsule really, really did a thing. And then you realize that a short time later, as his mouth was still bleeding, that, oh, maybe that wasn't a blood capsule. Right after that happens, Finn takes a running knee to the face, and you can just tell that, that wasn't a blood capsule either. Just we talked about it, me, you, and Daniel talked about it on our Zoom call during that match. Like, ooh, that was a good one. And then going back and rewatching that match, man, from start to finish, they just go at it. And there were a lot of injuries from this match, which is probably why WWE doesn't let guys go full throttle all the time. But when they do, and unfortunate injuries, I don't think either one of them are going to be out very long due to it. But I mean, that match was amazing. The emotion, the psychology, the actual shots that made you cringe. It was everything I expected it to be, and maybe even a little bit more. it's one of those things where Finn went over and Kyle got over. Like, two stars going at it. Kyle O'Reilly is now a star in NXT. He was good before. Everyone knew him as a technician and good in a tag team, but now he is a bona fide single star from this match with Finn.
Okay, Smitty.
I expected a strong style, kind of Japanese, hard-hitting match, and that's exactly what I got out of this match. Like, they fucked each other up, and they worked hella stiff with each other. It was really, like, this was my favorite match of the night. Z said explained the best. Like, Kyle O'Reilly came out like a first thing of roses as a star. Finn kind of solidified why he should be the man in NXT right now. I'll leave it at that for right now because I'm kind of in the middle of something.
Okay. Nick.
I thought the match was terrible, honestly.
Makes sense, yeah.
No, dude, from the video package before the match was a great way to lead into the match. Sometimes the video packages are a little bit of overkill for these main events because it's like you've already seen all this shit before. They hammer it down your throat, same highlight reels from, leading up to the match. But I didn't get that vibe from it. And then you see Kyle O'Reilly in the back with the Undisputed Era, and, they're getting it pumped up. Adam Cole tells him, I love you. And it kind of took you into a moment where, yes, this is the Undisputed Era, but it seemed real and personal, and it got me even more hyped for the match. And then you had the match, and I knew Kyle O'Reilly was good, but I don't have a lot of experience seeing him in singles matches, and man, he blew the roof off of that place, and so did Finn. I've seen comments in the past of like negative comments about Finn Balor, and he's got a limited move set and this crap, and I'm like, that showed right there not only Kyle O'Reilly's skill set, but Finn, and these two just went fucking ham on each other.
Ham.
Definitely the match of the night. I am disappointed that they're injured, because I would have liked to. I want to see more of Finn Balor now as the NXT champion. Now, who knows? I hope Z is right in the fact that he's only going to be out for a short period of time. But, dude, it really was. It was a great match, great way to end a great pay-per-view.
Well, also you got to think about it, man. TakeOver is like, you don't have to have your champion on it every show. He can talk. It's very similar to how we were talking about with the Austin stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Finn can come out and have conversations and build stuff and doesn't need to wrestle.
No, he can't. He's got a broken jaw. He can't talk.
Just use the fuck, I can't even think of his name right now.
Kanye West did a whole
did a song, Through the Wire.
He did it with a busted jaw. He did that whole song with a busted jaw. So Finn can make it work.
No, I'm talking about the guy who like typed through a speaking spell. Beep boop boop beep.
Oh, Stephen Hawkins.
Yeah, he could Stephen Hawkins it. Type into Siri, and Siri's like, "Hello, I'm an Australian woman," and I'm like, "No, that's not how Finn sounds at all." But yeah, but he doesn't need to wrestle. So this whole he might be not cleared for a month or two. Cool. They probably weren't going to have another takeover till December anyway. So, it's not like it's inhibiting him to do this. All he has to do is defend his title. But yes, this match was spectacular. That fucking last shot that he did take to the jaw is what broke his jaw when Kyle O'Reilly's knee just went. Just watching that, we were all like, oh, because we just saw it. And then, of course, Finn's bleeding out. What was crazy to me about this, though, the ref didn't put gloves on at all.
Oh, I remember talking about this.
Never once. Both guys are bleeding, and the ref is just like, here's my hands, COVID, nothing.
Well, hold on. That's kind of how you know it was real blood, though, because normally if they do the capsule, the gloves are on before they even start bleeding, if you pay attention to that kind of thing. But with this, I don't think the ref was prepared because there wasn't supposed to be blood.
I think you have to be prepared for blood even if there's not supposed to be blood.
Well, I mean, the average person, yes. This ref came unprepared. He should be fired.
He is under average. Replace him with Johnny Gargano. Johnny Gargano for ref. 2020.
I can dig it.
Yes, you can. Hey, Smitty, how's your grilling going over there? You guys got customers?
Bitch, and make me a sandwich.
No customers and Smitty's cooking. Shouldn't wonder why. Hi, Alexa.
Oh, prep work.
Whatever, man. So NXT TakeOver. We were hoping for. We all wanted a 10. Z, what do you rate it?
Overall, I'd have to give it like 8.5, 9.
All right, Nick.
Yeah, I'd say 8.5 for sure.
All right, Smitty. Like you knew it was coming to him.
9. Actually, 8.5.
All right. I give it an 8. Really good. Really good. Up next, and finally, okay. So, in the following NXT, so we just talked about the injuries with Finn Balor and Kyle O'Reilly. NXT had another injury bug hit them pretty hard. In Rich Holland. Z, you were watching this live, and you were like, "Holy fuck, he died! He blew his knee out on live television." What the shit? So talk about, as you were watching it, what you were thinking.
All right, so watching the match, and what happens is, standard spot. Holland standing outside of the ring. He's about to catch Lorcan, who's about to do a over-the-top dive. And he catches him, and when he catches him, he kind of stumbles back, and then, no pun intended here, his leg makes like a Z as he's falling, and you hear him this wasn't acting. This was like a blood-curdling scream, and if this was acting, he's really fucking good. I've seen him before. He's not that good of an actor. And then you see, so Lorcan's on top of him, and then you just see, I think there was like 5 refs that are trying to break it up, and it's like the earpiece. It's like whoever was in their earpiece was like, "Get Lorcan off him," and they literally all just jump on him like a pack of hyenas and get him back, whisper something in his ear. He kind of goes back into the ring to check on Danny Burch, and the whole time Holland's on the ground just screaming in pain. Now, it happened live, and I did not think they were going to replay it because it wasn't supposed to happen. But sure shit, 10 minutes later, they went to it, they slowed it down. You kind of see everything happen, and his ankle bends one way and his knee goes another. And then you see him on the stretcher, and I was like, man, this is like really overdone. But then I found out that they had to pop his knee back into place right there, hence the compression strap that he had on his leg, and he was on the stretcher. So he's fucked up for a while. You probably won't see him for at least a year, which sucks because they were putting the rocket to his back.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you ended up, I read that it was, he blew his ankle, he blew his knee, there's some tendon in his knee, like he's got
it was
a laundry
MCL,
list.
Yeah, MCL knee, and he fractured his ankle in like 3 spots. So I wouldn't be surprised if he like doesn't even wrestle the same way he wrestled before, because breaking your ankle in 3 spots is pretty fucking significant for your future endeavors. Are you watching it right now?
Yeah, I watched it, and I have it paused like right when he caught him and he's stumbling back, and you can see the bulge of muscles popping in his right his knee area. Oh, it's so bad. I don't know if I can show. I probably can't. Let's see.
Do you remember the NCAA tournament a few years back when Louisville was in the final? And the kid blows out his knee. You know what I'm talking about? Okay.
Yeah.
That's what this reminded me of.
I was going to say, kind of reminded.
Ooh. Like you see how thick that right above, like
Yeah, but I'll say, looking at that, it kind of reminded me a little bit like the way the leg was bent was a Sid Vicious leg break, and like this way his leg was looking, I'm like, ow.
It did look painful.
Yeah, I don't like. I think wrestlers are tough individuals, but damn.
Yeah, and from watching that though, like it doesn't look like anybody did anything wrong in order to cause the injury. It just looked like one of those unfortunate events where when you catch a guy, you just happen to be in the wrong place and something pops. I mean, it just that's life sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, because let's see, I'm gonna play it with sound. See how you can hear this. Yeah, because you can hear the crunch.
Uh-huh.
By the way, Mikey, your reaction on my screen looked like one of those reaction videos for Two Girls, One Cup, when people watching Two Girls, One Cup. That's the way your face just goes.
That's not good. Not good at all. I don't like it. I don't even like Two Girls, One Cup. Not one of my favorite videos of all time. Reaction videos are great.
It looked like one of those reaction videos from Two Girls, One Cup. Ow.
Oh God! Stop. You're the cup. You piece of shit.
I guess that makes you the girl, huh?
The what?
I guess that makes you two of the girls. Eat me, bitch.
So you saying you want a dude's tongue all up on you? Okay, make sure. You fucking gay. Smith is gay. It's all fine to my dick. No, it is. It is 100%. It still made you gay. This isn't the carton thing.
I was going to the whole Hilda Kumar Guantanamo Bay reference. It ain't gay if you're sucking my dick.
That was a horrible reference. WWE draft results, ladies and gentlemen. People got drafted. People are on new shows. People are on the same shows. Tag teams are broken up, and Smitty is angry. Let's talk about it. First round of the WWE draft happened on SmackDown. The first half of it. The second half is going to happen on Raw. Round one, the number one pick went to Raw. They took Drew McIntyre. Number two pick went to SmackDown. They took Roman Reigns, the tribal chief. The next pick went to Raw. They took Asuka, the Raw Women's Champion. Then SmackDown took the first move of the night in Seth Rollins. Number three pick for Raw is the Hurt Business with Bobby Lashley as United States Champion, MVP, Shelton Benjamin, and of course, Apollo Crews' former best friend, Cedric Alexander. I guess so we'll talk about it round by round. One, the only major move is Seth Rollins to SmackDown. But Hurt Business being up there as your number three pick has to say a lot of things about them, right? And how high WWE is on them, right? What do you think, Z?
I mean, right now, they're the only reason I tune into Monday Night Raw. They've been the only real consistent storyline. I've always been a fan of Shelton Benjamin. I'm just so happy that he's doing something significant, not just like stupid comedy shit they had him doing before where he'd like make his eyes look the other way and then leave, which I was still a mark for that. But I'm just glad he's actually doing something. A lot of the focus has been on the Hurt Business, especially with the retribution angle and all that, and they're really over with the current. Everybody right now, everyone that's watching wrestling is basically a wrestling fan, like a diehard, like us or Smarks or anything like that. But that's what it's whittled down to. especially since you can't really build new superstars right now with COVID. I mean, you kind of have to do what you can with what you have, and putting this together and this being one of the more stable storylines on Monday Night Raw. So I mean, I think it shows that they're willing to, you know, push these guys to the moon with possibly Lashley as your champion, Benjamin as your, you know, United States champion.
Hi, I'm back. Sorry.
Oh, you left? We didn't even.
I froze. I didn't hear a single thing you said. I was like, oh man, I'm frozen. Sorry. Go ahead. Continue what you're saying.
I was about done. So somebody else can go
now. Smitty, what are your thoughts? Hurt Business being being a first round draft pick. So you got Bobby Lashley, MVP, Shelton Benjamin, Cedric Alexander, all in a top faction being pushed like that. What are your thoughts?
I'm a fan of Hurt Business, which is also one thing I've been saying. Like, MVP coming back to WWE has been a godsend for a lot of people. Like, do you think? I don't think any without MVP and starting Hurt Business, these guys would have probably been on Raw Talk or talking smack, being put over somewhere else. Also, the fact that Hurt Business got drafted as a stable kind of goes into another reason later in that night. I was like, certain things where I thought in the draft were dumb.
All right, Nick, your thoughts on the first round of the draft? Or is it a bigger deal for Seth Rollins moving over to SmackDown? Or is the Hurt Business the big story of round one on SmackDown?
I actually kind of agree with Smitty on a lot of what he said. You know,
sorry.
I do like the Hurt Business. I'll start off by saying that. Seth Rollins, when I first saw that he was moving to SmackDown, I was like, oh, okay. But my thoughts after that, we'll talk more about here in a few minutes. They kind of changed after, and the same thing with the Hurt Business. Like, I was like, okay, that's cool. But then events that happened later in the night kind of led me to like, well, yeah, man, I mean, it's kind of dumb, but then at the same time, it kind of makes sense. And what I'm saying will make more sense as we talk more about the draft. But I don't know. I'm cool with where they're at right now. I'd like to see the Hurt Business kind of expand what they've got going on, and
you'd like to see them become the Hurt Corporation.
Yeah, something like that.
The Hurt LLC.
I actually do have a little thing about the Hurt Business too. Can we just choose what alignment they go?
Nick's still talking.
We'll get more into that as we talk more about the draft. It'll all make more sense.
Break down the draft.
Breaking down the dream.
But I would say, when it comes to Hurt Business, the only thing that kind of annoys me right now is they have not chosen the alignment for me yet. It's like they seem like they're heels when they go on against Ricochet and Apollo, but then all of a sudden with Retribution, they're all of a sudden turning on the babyface.
Yeah, they're tweeners. Leave it alone.
Yeah, they're a business, bro. That's all it is. There's no alignment for them. Second round kicked off with another move. AJ Styles leaving the side of Paul Heyman. I mean, AJ Styles leaving where Paul Heyman is again, going back to Raw. But we kind of expected that. AJ wasn't liking the whole the Friday night schedule because it hurt him and his not being able to see his son's video game as my roommate's walking by trying not to make any noise. So she's making more noise. Door open. I should pause that. I should mute that again. All right. So AJ Styles goes to Raw. Sasha Banks stays on SmackDown, but Naomi moves from SmackDown to Raw. Then Bianca Belair moves from Raw to SmackDown. And finally, the Raw pick, the women's tag team champions, Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler. Round two was a very hair-friendly round. If you had long hair and you had a great flow, you were getting drafted somewhere. Started with AJ Styles and his beautiful hair. Then went to Sasha Banks' blue hair. Then Naomi's get rough and tough with my afro puff. Then Bianca Belair's pigtail. And then Nia Jax's colorful hair and Shayna Baszler's mouthpiece.
Forehead. Shayna Baszler's forehead.
Yes. Sharon Corbin and Nia Jax. Nick, kick this one off, man. What were your thoughts for round two?
I'm liking the fact that AJ is going back to Raw. I don't know. I mean, he was cool on SmackDown, but I hope that he kind of helps Raw's situation get a little better, because right now it's just in the dog shitter. Is Mikey frozen again? Nope. Okay. This goes back to what I was saying about the Hurt Business with Naomi and or Bianca Belair. I like the idea of a woman going into the Hurt Business. I like Naomi better in the Hurt Business than I do Bianca Belair, because I think Bianca Belair is a star. She doesn't need anybody's help. But Naomi isn't doing shit right now. She hasn't been doing shit in the last few months. So put her in the Hurt Business, and I think that's a good move. So
did I miss something? Did they say that was actually happening?
No. Somebody had mentioned it in one of the Facebook groups, and I was like, oh, that's actually kind of a cool idea. So,
all right. Z. Actually, Smitty, you look like you have a free moment, and you're the one cooking, so.
Yeah, so actually, what Nick said about Naomi and joining her business, that's a great idea, but my thought process is, once again, the internet community has spoken lately about they want more from Naomi, and maybe a move to Raw is just the first start she needs to actually have a push as a singles competitor. The singles push she kind of started to get before she got hurt on SmackDown.
Z.
I was gonna say the exact same shit that Nick said. But if you're not putting Naomi in the Hurt Business, it's nice to have fresh veteran talent that can go up against Asuka, and possibly, like you could build Naomi where she would actually look like a threat to taking Asuka's belt. So it's not just these, like, not like the matches with Zelina Vega where you're like, okay, this is going to be a good match, but we know who's going to win. You could build up Naomi to where they go into their match and you start to think Asuka will win, but as the match goes on, you're like, oh, wait a minute, like maybe they will put the strap on Naomi. So, I mean, you could go either way with her, and I mean, that makes it a great pick because it's so versatile that they could do a lot of different things with her over there on Raw, especially with that extra hour. So it's a good move.
All right. I think the biggest thing about round 2 was the Bianca Belair draft. Going to SmackDown, because the minute that happened, you know that WWE, if somebody is married, they try to keep them together on the same show. So it's not like so they could travel together, they could still be together. It's not like it's going to hurt their relationship. So the minute Bianca Belair was drafted to SmackDown, I said, oh, all right, well, what about Tez and Dawkins? Now, my first thought is maybe they're going to go and be viable contenders because they had already done something with Shinsuke and Cesaro before this. And so you're thinking maybe they're going to maybe they'll get drafted tonight, maybe they won't, maybe they'll drop the belts on Raw and, get drafted post dropping the belts, similar to what was happening later in the night, which we'll talk about. But I thought that was the most significant one because obviously it foreshadows something that's definitely going to happen, right? Like you saw the minute that happened is you're like, okay, the Street Profits are going to SmackDown because they're not breaking the Street Profits up. It's too good of a team. Hell, they have them doing NASCAR shit right now. Let's go to round 3. Round 3 is all about fun, I guess. No, I don't know. There's no real theme to this one. Like round 4 is all about splits. Round 3 is about let's do this. Ricochet stays on Raw. Jey Uso stays on SmackDown. Mandy Rose stays on Raw. Rey Mysterio and Dominic Mysterio get drafted to SmackDown. And then The Miz and Morrison go Raw. Nick, you said yourself, what?
No, I was going to go into it, but never mind. Go ahead,
Nick, you said earlier you were talking about how things later, when they were happening, made your Seth Rollins thought process change. I'm assuming this is the round that did that.
Yeah, because the fact that Rey and Dominic are going over to SmackDown just lets me know that storyline is going to continue, and Seth had made a few comments earlier in the night once he found out he was going to SmackDown that he I don't remember exactly what he said, but kind of insinuated that, you know, he was just like, okay, fuck them. They're over here and I'm over here. But it just kind of, I don't know, that's boring to me. I mean, I don't know. I'm not a big fan of that whole storyline. I think it's, at this point, it's been going on for way too fucking long. I'm like, okay, Seth's going over to SmackDown. All right, so now we can have a little bit of a fresh start with that. And now Ray and his son are going to SmackDown. It's like, fuck, they are going to continue this. Son of a bitch.
It gets better. Just wait till late round 6.
Obviously. Z, you were about to say something with this.
All right, first of all, I don't understand why Dominic and Ray were drafted together. Now, if it was Dominic and Humberto Carrillo, who have actually been kind of like a tag team, Smitty, put yourself on mute, then that would make more sense to me. Or if you originally like have Ray, like, is Ray now a manager? Is Ray not a wrestling talent, but he's managing his son? Like, you know what I mean? Like, it doesn't make sense why they would be drafted together. Because they're not even an official tag team. They are just father and son, but two separate talents.
But they do it all.
Right.
We're father and son. Give us a call.
So, I mean, I unlike Nick, I love this storyline. I love the layers and layers they keep adding to it. Now, don't get me wrong. There have been like some weeks where I've been like, where the fuck are they going with this? But each week they do a better job of adding a new layer to this story, and it keeps people invested. Like, I'm intrigued to see where it goes. Like, we all thought it was going to be like Ray turning on Dominic or Dominic turning on Ray, but now you have this whole other element of his 19-year-old daughter who's having this like feelings for Murphy. Like, this is like real shit. This is, you know, real. I mean, Nick and Mikey, you both have daughters. Like, your daughter starts going out with an asshole, and you know what I mean? Like, this is something you guys could relate to, you know, in a few years, obviously. But they're doing storylines that are relatable to the average human, which is how you draw people in. So I don't think it's been too long. I think they do need to wrap it up within the next month or two, or maybe at Survivor Series. But I don't think it's gone on too long yet. It hasn't gotten boring, and they keep adding different layers to it to keep it fresh.
What do you think they could do bringing it all to SmackDown that hasn't been done on Raw? Where are you hoping it goes?
Like, where do I think you're going to finally see... Well, I mean, to answer this, I have to give away a later pick. Is that okay?
Sure.
They had a round that wasn't on TV after SmackDown where Buddy Murphy was drafted to SmackDown. So now I think you're going to see it kind of Romeo and Juliet, guys. You know, Montagues and Capulets. You're going to probably see Ray's daughter dissect, whatever, from the family, and Buddy's going to turn on Seth, and then they're going to go be their little couple and have, you know, Ray and not be happy, and Dominic not be happy, and Seth not be happy. You might even end up with a tag team with Seth Rollins and Dominic. I mean, there's many different ways you can go with this. This is not like a storyline that's dead in the water. There's so much tied into this right now that you can go a lot of different ways and still make sense of it going forward and keep it fresh.
If Murphy and Rey Mysterio's daughter end up getting married, the good thing is she can keep her last name because Murphy doesn't have one since WWE took it away. So really, it's still the family dynamic is there, still very strong. So, Smitty, your thought process on round 3?
The controversial pick of Ray and Dominic going over to SmackDown.
Why is that controversial?
Because I figured when they drafted Seth, it was a way to end that story that I felt was kind of going nowhere. Like, Z feels like they're trying to force a long-term story, which this is all like I just don't care for this with the story they're trying to build for this, and bringing everybody in from the story on Raw over to SmackDown, and just really don't care for it.
Okay.
Everything else from that round was just kind of meh.
One of the big things of round 4 happens. So Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods have returned to WWE programming. Their injuries are done. They take on Cesaro and Nakamura. They win the SmackDown They win the SmackDown Tag Team Championships off of Cesaro and Nakamura. Stephanie McMahon walks the fuck out as all 3 of New Day members are celebrating to say the SmackDown Tag Team Champions of Xavier Woods and Kofi Kingston being drafted to Raw as they're standing in the ring going, "What about E? He's right here. Look at Big E. Look at E right here." She goes, "SmackDown drafts Big E." Then Dana Brooke stays on Raw. Otis stays on SmackDown. And, Angel Garza on Raw. I said they split that. My thought process was they split that tag team, but Angel stayed on Raw. He didn't go to SmackDown. So, New Day is no longer a trio. It is a duo on Raw. I guess Big E technically still is part of the New Day, but he's on SmackDown now. Smitty, I'm going to lead with you on this one, unless you're too busy making some taco meat. Wonder if you know that you're on mute still.
I think he's frozen.
I think he's in a cooler, so it fucked his connection up. So we're going to start with Nick.
I knew that they were splitting up the New Day before I watched SmackDown, just because of spoilers on social media and whatever. But as I watched,
so you didn't watch it live? You didn't watch it live?
No. I watched it last night. When you see Big E throughout the night, especially after his fantastic Falls Count Anywhere match with Sheamus, by the way, that was great. He just had a demeanor about him that, and maybe it was just in my head, but he had a demeanor that he kind of knew something bad was going to happen. And I don't know if maybe that was his real feelings kind of showing up, because when it actually happened and he was in the ring, I felt like his reaction was super genuine. I imagine it would be. I mean, you have this brotherhood with the New Day that's been going on for years now, and it's been such a dominating force in wrestling. I mean, not just WWE, but everywhere. And now it's getting broken up. I honestly, I felt bad for him,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I think it's inevitable. We all kind of been talking about it for quite some time now that it was eventually going to happen. So I think it's a good thing. I think it's a bad thing. And the good thing is I'm interested to see what they do with Big E's character. I think he can be a really dominant force as a singles competitor. So it's interesting. It's sad, but it's interesting.
I will say I agree. When they split it up, my first thought was, okay, I get it. Big E is someone that we have all said that they can put money behind, that Big E should have a run, a major run, whether it be the Intercontinental title, maybe finally be a WWE champion, a Universal champion, whatever. Obviously, we know he's not touching that Universal title for a little bit. So it's kind of all right. I feel like this. A lot of people are really pissed off that they didn't do some type of storyline like they just did. Why didn't the New Day get drafted as a full trio? Why did they only take? Well, because they have said many times that in any of the drafts, and many of the times New Day's been teased to be picked separately before as well. Where like somebody can get drafted, you could draft pieces of a team. You don't have to take the whole thing. So when everyone was like, I don't understand why they didn't draft him the same and then do a trade or something for Big E. Well, in every draft we've ever talked about, there's always been talk that teams could be split and broken up, that factions, you could take pieces of a faction and not take the other one. So I don't understand that argument about this. Like, I think the best way to have done it is this, because then if you're trying to do some sort of trade or anything like that, it kind of like convolutes it. It makes it look dumb. We've all said that some of these trades already look ridiculous. Oh, Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross traded for superstar to be named later. And then fucking Apollo Crews shows up 5-8 months down the line, right? Like, what? Why? Oh, this is that person, the to be named later. I didn't realize that named later is that long, right? So I'm okay with the way this draft happened, the split of them. Smitty is not. Smitty is very angry. Smitty, do you have a moment to talk?
Yeah, I got a quick moment. So yeah, I'm upset. I'm upset because, like I told you last night, one of the few consistent within WWE's tag team stable division with over the last 10 years, the two things that have been stable, no matter what, have been the New Day and the Usos. We don't have the Usos. You technically don't have the trio of the New Day.
But you still have the New Day. You don't have the Usos because one of them's injured.
Yeah, but let me finish getting to the point here.
No, that's
and then even during the talking smack thing, when they said they had more draft picks, you broke up another team. WWE has no real solid tag team. Like they have Kofi and Xavier Woods, and you have the Street Profits. Outside of that, what active team do you have in WWE at this point?
Since when is WWE about tag teams, though? Why are you upset about something that WWE has never given a fuck about?
Because I care about tag team wrestling.
Yeah, but then
watch AEW.
Yeah, because you're not getting that in WWE. Number one, you didn't break up the New Day. You just took Big E out of it and put him on a separate show. The Usos are separated because one of them's injured. You're talking about the later draft picks, which we could talk about. Tucker went over to Raw, and Otis is still on SmackDown. Heavy Machinery wasn't really doing shit anyway. It's more about Otis and Mandy Rose. I'm more upset that Mandy Rose. Yeah, but I'm saying I'm more upset that they took away that dynamic, not the tag team dynamic. They're not doing shit with the tag team. So if you're not doing anything, what's the purpose of keeping it, Buzzy?
And they're your SmackDown Tag Champions, so they got to be on SmackDown at least one more fucking time, or maybe they'll lose them at a pay-per-view, or they wrestle the Street Profits and combine the two, and now the New Day is the undisputed champions and can go to either show, so you're still not exactly breaking them up. You're just giving Big E a singles push. I didn't mind it at all, and I'm glad Nick talked about it because that match with Sheamus was fucking phenomenal. And oh my god, what a fucking concept! A Falls Count Anywhere match that doesn't end in the fucking ring.
Who knew? Oh my god, you telling me that someone had to fall anywhere?
Oh my god, they brought it full circle. Like it ended on the same car that Big E was laid out on. It was fan-fucking-tastic.
Nice. Smitty went mute again.
It makes me feel like, all right, so now we've got the SmackDown Tag Champions on Raw. Is that inevitable to say that the Street Profits are going to move to SmackDown now?
Well, yeah, that's what I was saying earlier with Bianca Belair. Bianca Belair and Montez Ford are married. Belair went to SmackDown. I automatically knew that the Street Profits were going to SmackDown. But with this situation happening here, they could still hold those belts and go. And it's just swap the belts.
I will. Oh.
Okay.
I was going to say, I will say this, though. It's a little different now because there's no live events. It's just TV. So you could theoretically have the Street Profits on Monday Night Raw, Bianca Belair on Fridays, and you don't have shit to do in between because there's no live events. So she would just have to fly out Thursday night, and he would have to fly out Sunday night, but the rest of that time could be spent together instead of on separate schedules for live events.
True, but obviously, most likely because TV, they're trying to get TV back as fast as possible, and live events back. Hopefully by the end of the year is what they're hoping. I don't think COVID's going to allow that. But maybe again, so you right, we're going to travel to Naples. Okay.
No, all restrictions are lifted tomorrow.
Yeah, I know. Can't wait. I like how the Miami Dolphins are allowed to have their stadium full, or Buccaneers, someone, and they're like, yeah, we're still going to stick with this 20,000 that we're allowed. We're not. Fuck you, DeSantis.
Well, yeah, because
anyway.
now it's up to the owner's discretion.
Right.
Whatever.
So, yes, I'm okay with this. I think it's okay. I think it's fine. I think people need to stop flipping about how this happened. Like, oh my God, did not go the way I wanted it to, so I'm mad. All right, well, fuck off. And then, yes, during Talking Smack, all of the free agents were announced, and we saw what happened. Humberto Carrillo stayed on Raw. Murphy went to SmackDown. Drew Gulak went to Raw. Kalisto left the Lucha House Party. Or I guess not. It said Kalisto's on SmackDown. And then Tucker is on Raw. Because Lucha House Party were SmackDown anyway, right? Or were they Raw?
No, they were on Raw. But,
okay.
I mean, come Monday, they could end up on SmackDown and they're not broken. You know what I mean?
Right. So then Lucha House Party split up too. Oh, my God, Smitty's more angry. Sorry, he fell into the grass. He's in Honey, I Shrunk the Cook. Overall, draft expectations. What are you thinking is going to happen? Give me something big that you are assuming might happen, Z, on Raw.
Charlotte Flair to SmackDown.
Yeah?
I mean, I really don't know. Or, Luke Gallows came back in the form of Lars Sullivan, too, and he'll be added to the draft pool Monday. I really hope that he becomes a free agent, and I don't understand how they let all these people go during COVID, but they keep a guy that has proof of being racist and even more proof of doing gay porn. Like, I don't get it, but Zack Ryder had to leave and Lars Sullivan can stay. Doesn't make any fucking sense.
Well, yeah, because it was woo, 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 you know it, not woo, 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 I'll blow it. Duh.
Yeah, I get it. But, Austin Theory and a 13-year-old Dream and his bullshit. Like, I don't like the fact that they're overlooking all this shit.
I agree. That's why I've stopped watching WWE. I'm hearing all my news from you guys. Nick, give me a big, something big that you think might happen in the next draft on Monday.
Fuck. I don't even know.
That would be huge if someone had sex.
Somebody's gonna fuck. I think you could see Shinsuke Nakamura and Cesaro split up. Maybe bring Shinsuke over to Raw.
Another tag team splitting? Smitty's gonna be mad.
Not that that's like the biggest news in the world, but that's really the only thing off the top of my head. And
okay, that's fine. Yeah. Smitty, give me something that you might think might be a major shakeup on the Raw draft.
I think the mid-card titles may switch shows possibly, and Street Profits will probably go over to SmackDown.
I'm sorry, did you say the mid-card titles are going to switch?
Not mid-card.
They've already been drafted?
Well, Sami Zayn has it, but I think we may get a little bit of controversy, but Sami Zayn may end up on Raw, and the Street Profits end up on SmackDown. And it starts a whole weird story going into Survivor Series. That leads into Survivor Series.
All right. Not a problem. I like it. I like it a lot. That's it for our show, boys. We've had a great run today. We're going to be back next Sunday. We're going to have some more fun. We'll talk about the last half of WWE's draft. We'll talk more about the world of wrestling. We'll talk some more about things that are coming up. We got Bound for Glory, Impact's pay-per-view this month. We have Hell in a Cell to talk about. It's coming up, obviously, at the end of this month. More build to both of those. We're going to get into all that next week. Make sure you go to breakingdownthering.com. Pick yourself up some of our merch. We got great hats. We have charities, where if you buy one of the shirts from our charity thing, it donates 100% of the profits to a specific charity. So go to breakingdownthering.com. Check that out. Follow us on all of our social media at BDRcast. And we are your ring crew. Son of a bitch.
All right. I'm kind of just got my first order, so
okay.
I'm Smitty.
We are your ring crew.
I'm Smitty. I'm out.
Oh, Nick 19
with Callie in the background.
Yeah.
And Shitsy Dogfart.
And me, Mikey One, Mikey himself. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for paying attention. We are out.